let's talk more on this with Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, who is a cultural expert. Professor, thank you so much for joining us right now. We are seeing visuals coming out of Enyokeni where the reed dance has taken place. We are currently waiting for the king. Can you just take us through what the significance of the ceremony is?
The significance of this ceremony is in line with the Zulu custom and the Zulu tradition of sustaining and keeping the virginity of the maidens until they reach maturity to be at a stage of the marriage or the rite of passage of marriage. So this has been the norm even during King Shaka's era, where maidens were observing the reed dance and presenting the reed, which symbolizes purity to His Majesty, to showcase their virginity status quo.
We do know that pre-1984, the ritual of the reed dance was somewhat not practiced. It was revived by the former late King Zwelithini together with his then great wife Mantombi. Do we know that from that revival from 1984 onwards, how much has it actually revived the unity amongst the Zulu nation?
I think your line is not clear. What is your question? I just got the background.
Oh, sorry,
to the question. Yes.
All right, I'm just asking with regards to one of the significances of the ceremony is to unite the Zulu nation. And post-1984, we did see the former king, the late King Goodwill Zwelithini, reviving the practice of the reed dance. Has that had any impact on the unity of the Zulu nation?
Yes, of course, because during the ceremonies, people come together and communicate and celebrate the ceremony by praising His Majesty for managing to bring the maidens together to learn from him, because when they come or they ascend Enyokeni, that is where the king have an opportunity to address them and give them advice on how they should behave and how they should keep their virginity and why it is important for a maiden to keep her virginity. Because if you are young, you need to have role models, and in this point in time, we don't have role models because most people do not care about their virginity. They feel that virginity testing is a violation of their right. So by coming here, it means people will be on the same page in understanding the significance of this ceremony. Because, as you have said, it unites the people. You see people are there attending.
Professor, how important is it for us to preserve our cultural traditions and practices in order for us to be able to have our children know where it is that we come from?
It is very important to preserve yourself until such time you reach to a stage where you get married and have a husband and have children, rather than having children prior to the marriage. Because when you are young, you are still weak. You are not strong enough to look after a child or take care of the child. That is why children that are born by young maidens become a responsibility of mothers. Grandmothers raise these children because of that. So it is important that young women keep themselves until such time they are strong enough to handle children.
Professor, you mentioned earlier on that we come from different backgrounds and we are certainly a country of great diversity and people have different belief systems. Do you think that as South Africans, especially as Africans, we are doing enough to preserve our cultural practices?
I don't think we are doing enough, and this is one of the attempts by the Zulu nation to preserve virginity for the maidens, because there are external forces that prevent us from preserving ourselves due to the modern times that we live in and due to social media and what we see from television. So people do not see any need to preserve themselves. You find that there are news that young girls at the age of 10 years, they have children themselves. They are still children and they have children because of the influence of the environment that we find ourselves in, which is not the right thing to go, because you can't expect a 10-year-old to have a child of her own. That 10-year-old still needs guidance of her mother and parents. So if she becomes a parent while she's studying, it creates a problem and a challenge for the child. The child will grow in an environment where the child doesn't even know who the real mother is, the grandmother or the real mother. So it's not something that us as Africans would applaud, but we are forced by the influences of the time that we are living. We always claim that cultures are dynamic, but some of the things are core that we need to preserve so that we keep our children growing up in better environments.
Most certainly, that was Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, a cultural expert, giving us some insight with regards to the reed dance, the significance of the reed dance in South Africa, and how important it is for us to preserve our cultural practices.